My name is Carlo Guillermo Proto, and I'm the director of the feature-length documentary El Huaso. El Huaso is about a man in his late 50s who has self-diagnosed himself with Alzheimer's in order to justify his own euthanasia. And the film follows his process to see if he actually does have Alzheimer's and how it's affected the family. Throughout that process, he goes back to his homeland of Chile to fulfill his childhood dream of competing in Chilean rodeos, and Huaso is slang for Chilean cowboy. The man in his late 50s is also my father. Yeah, I think what was the most memorable sort of moment was that me and my father really sort of lost touch. You know, I mean, we always saw each other, but I think emotionally we sort of like really lost touch when I was like in my late teens and I was like becoming a man and always challenging his sort of ideals and challenging mine, and we kind of like broke off because when I was a kid he was like my best friend, and well, the film allowed me to kind of rekindle that relationship again by him participating in the film, because he's one of the two principal characters in the film. Ever since being in film school, one of my mentors, profs, Dan Cross, who's a really great filmmaker, but recently he's been like an executive producer of a lot of like Up the Yangtze and Last Train Home, China Heavyweight, like all these really popular and successful documentaries out of Montreal. He's always talked highly about the Cleveland International Film Festival from when we were in film school, so it was always a target, I guess, or a goal to show in Cleveland. And so I was really, not only was it a highlight for the film to be one of the first, if probably I think the first film to be programmed at the festival, but also to be able to present my first feature here. And last night when I arrived, it was pretty eye-opening, and the hospitality, the volunteers, the people here, it's really lovely to be here. And my film hasn't screened yet, but I heard that the audiences are just as incredible. And I really like the approach. I find Cleveland's a filmmakers festival. It's a filmmakers audience festival, and there's no galas, there's no pretension. It's just there's a lot of really sort of great kind of connection or camaraderie amongst the filmmaker and the audience, and there's no segregation or anything like that. So I really appreciate that. Like I do feel like Cleveland is a bit of as a filmmakers festival, and I'm starting to realize it's probably the most underrated, underappreciated festivals that I've ever heard of, because people never say anything negative, but not many people, like, they know about Cleveland, but I don't know, for some people, I guess for some strange reason, it's not that it's not a destination, but hear about it that much, like in the festival circuit. I've heard of it because my professor Dan showed here a while back, and he's always talked well about it. I think this was probably like in the 80s when he showed his film. I definitely am going to be, advocating for this festival. All I can say is that filmmakers talk. They really talk, and they talk to each other, and you quickly really know like what are the good festivals and what are the bad festivals.